Now, we're going to say that the Industrial Revolution starts in 1767, I think, or something like that, with the foundation of a mill in England. But the movement towards industrialization started way earlier than that. It really started with the discovery of America. And one of the things that's going to be significant about European history is that during this period of time, England is becoming more and more industrialized, even though we won't say yet that it's an industrial economy, right? But it's becoming more and more industrialized. And what we see happening is that the colonies in New England are following England's lead. So they're becoming more and more industrialized as well. When they're becoming more and more industrialized, they are at the same time becoming more modernized, because the process of becoming a modern place included industrialization. It also included liberalization, which means in some ways popular sovereignty, and it includes capitalism. We've talked about that before. So we see that movement towards modernism in New England, but we don't see that movement toward modernism in Virginia. What we see in Virginia is essentially a backward-looking society. I'm not saying it's a backward society. I'm saying it's a backward-looking society, meaning that it very much resembles the earlier period in Europe, more so than the modern period that England and now New England and other countries are moving toward. Is this really going to create two completely separate societies in America? And they are going to see each other as foreign. So people in Virginia will know about people in New England, but from their point of view, they're foreigners. And the people in New England will know about the people in Virginia, but from their point of view, they are foreigners. And they have two different cultures. This one's much more open and democratic. The Virginia culture is much more aristocratic, like medieval Europe. And they have two different economies, one that relies very much on trade and the other one that relies on agriculture. What do you think these differences in creation are going to result in? As I mentioned to you guys, that people in New England saw the people in Virginia as foreigners, and the people in Virginia saw the people in New England as foreigners, and both societies had very different needs. They had different outlooks and they had different needs. What we'll see, I think, starting next week, is the people in the North and the people in the South will come together against a common, what they consider to be a common enemy, which is the British, and they'll form a country, but that country will be a country of separate countries. It's not going to be like what we think of today as the United States. When we think of the United States, we think of this great big country, capital's in Washington, and they have all these different places like Ohio and California and Texas and Florida, but it's all one country. But in the original idea of America, of the United States of America, was that they were very different countries, and the only reason why they had a central government was to do things that they couldn't do for themselves, like foreign policy, for example. So then when we see these two regions of the country not really seeing each other as brothers, but as rivals, how do you think it's going to end?
A war?
What kind of war?
Civil war?
The Civil War, exactly. So now, why did I bring all this up right now? The reason why is because I want you guys to know that the Civil War was inevitable. It began really in the 17th century with the first colonies, because the United States was not created as a single place. It was created as a bunch of different places, particularly these two places. And one of the kind of themes that we'll see as we go through American history is that there's always two different outlooks on America, on every aspect of America, really, at least two. So is America a great economic powerhouse? Yes. Is America a land of idealism that is exporting its superior ideology? Yes. Is the United States a rapacious imperial predator? Yes. Is the United States a fountain of liberty? Yes. So we need to keep in mind that the United States is always a diversity, even when all the people are white. The United States is always a diversity.